Hello and welcome. I'm Ryan with Rivermist Software, and I'll be giving you a short tour of the Twilight Struggle interface today. To do that, we're going to go ahead and start a game against the Soviet AI. So let's go ahead and do that. Leave all the settings on the default and then press start. Alright, so let's take a look around the window here. You'll see here in the middle it tells us what phase is going on. Down here in the middle is going to be the card tray where the cards will appear as we play them. Over here on the left side we have a couple of nice options. This first tab here shows what cards are in effect. Since we're at the beginning of the game, nothing's been played yet. If you click here, then it will show any cards that would be unable to be played currently because they have prerequisites. And then we can go ahead and look over here. You see the main window here has already automatically panned and zoomed to the area in question. Down here it shows the report of what's going on. The Soviets have already placed their initial starting influence. Up here in the upper right you have a mini map that you can click anywhere on there and have it pop into anywhere in the world you'd like to go. And you can use your mouse wheel to zoom in and out here to make things easier for you, or you can pan manually with your mouse like that. Up here we have on the right side the various tracks of Twilight Struggle. We have the victory points, shows what DEFCON turn and round status are right now. If you mouse over the space race, that will pop up that so you can take a look at some of the details of what that entails, where you are, where your opponent is. And military operations are here. Now on the sidebar on the right we have all the names of all the cards that are currently in your hand. Now this is an easy way to look at everything, but if you need to be able to look at individual cards, there's a couple of different ways that you can do that. If you just hover over the title, it will pop up a tooltip that will let you read the card in depth here. But sometimes you might want to just be able to look at all your cards at once here. So for that we have the fan hand button here. You can click any of these cards to go ahead and pop them out, look at them a little closer, or you can put them back, and the hovering over a card will also work here so that you can easily read anything here, and you just press escape to hop out of that. So let's say you want to look at some of the other cards that are potentially in play. We have a couple of buttons over here to make that easier. This button here will bring up the discard pile. This button here will bring up the cards that have been removed from the game entirely. And this will bring up the early, mid, and late war cards respectively. Let's go ahead and take a look at the other early war cards that are available. When you have this many cards out, I think it's easiest just to look at it with the full grid. But there's a number of different ways that you can look through the deck. Here you can also mouse over and be able to read the cards more in detail. Alright, well, now that we've had a chance to tour the interface, let's go ahead and actually get started playing so you can see how that plays out. I'm going to click ready here so that we can start the initial influence phase for the US side. You'll notice that the map has panned and zoomed to show the areas where I could legally place influence. That's a mechanic that's consistent throughout the interface. Every time you have to choose a target, it's going to highlight in red all the targets that would be legal and zoom the map so that you can see them all at once, and then you can adjust the map as needed. Alright, now I'm going to place my influence. The way that you manipulate the influence on this is you click the top of the box to increase influence, or the bottom of the box to decrease influence if you change your mind, and you notice that the box will go solid to show control of a country. And we'll go ahead and get our influence placed and move forward into the headline phase. Soviets have already picked their event. We're going to headline Captured Nazi Scientist. Looks like they chose Fidel, so we see that the Soviets get control of Cuba, and we've moved forward in the space race. And in action round 1, the Soviets are coupping in Iran with the China card, and they knocked us out of there, and we can't even counter coup now. Too bad for us. But now that it is safe for us to do so, I'm going to go ahead and place influence in Italy to take control of it. Now you can see that once we have a card selected, we have radio buttons to help us choose what we're going to do with the card. In this case, we're going to be placing influence. with special relationship in Italy so that we can take control of another battleground now that it's not going to be able to be cooed. And the Soviets are still driving down DEFCON. Now that it's DEFCON 3, let's go ahead and try to do the best that we can with containment for a coup. And let's try to get our place back into Iraq. At least we'll get some mill ops. Which looks like that's the only thing that we're going to get. Next phase, we see that the Soviet Union is playing NATO for influence. And we can see here that NATO is a safe card for them to play because Marshall Plan hasn't been played yet. And they took control of Iran and Iraq. Looks like they're playing pretty hard for the Middle East, so I think we are going to play a 5-year plan and take control of Israel. So that we at least have presence there. And now they are playing the Middle East scoring card. This is the scoring report. You can see that it shows we both have presence, and the Soviets are ultimately going to gain 1 victory point in this exchange. This report is accessible anytime you want to see it. You don't have to have a scoring card in your hand. The way that you look at that is you mouse over the part on the board that tells you the points for presence, domination, or control, so you can see exactly what the situation is in any given part of the world if your opponent were to play a scoring card, or you can decide if it's worth it for you to do so. Let's get blockade burned and De Gaulle out of my hand for now. We'll use this for influence. And discard De Gaulle so that we don't lose our influence in Germany. And now let's try to get ourselves in a better position in Asia. And Soviets are spacing East European unrest. And they've caught up with us in the space race now. We can go ahead and burn Nasser. Oh, also here you can see when you select a event that's associated with your opponent, you have the option here with the radio buttons to whether if you want to have the event trigger before or after your action. In this case, I don't think it really matters, so give them Egypt, and we will move into Thailand. And they're playing Romanian abdication for influence now. In Libya. And then we will play Truman Doctrine and actually take control of Thailand. Or, I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. There we go. There's Thailand. And now we've moved on into turn 2. You can see the cards have been dealt out and we have our new hand here. I think that's enough to give you a taste of what the interface for this game looks like. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and we'll see you later.